Yo, 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 yo. It's Mr. G coming at ya live for a video about factor by grouping. So, what we're going to look at is different ways to factor in order to make solving equations with polynomials just a little bit easier, in order to manipulate these polynomials and to look like different things to help us do a lot of different things later on with them. Okay, so first we have to know how to factor them, and this is just another way of factoring. So right away looking at this, there is no greatest common factor here. There's no GCF. Okay, no GCF at all. But what we could do is we're going to do what's called factor by grouping. So I'm going to look at just two different groups and factor them separately. So I'm going to look at 5v to the third minus 2v squared. And I'm also going to look at 25v minus 10. So I just grouped these together and these together. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I'm looking at this group right here, I'm going to say, well, hey, does 5v cubed minus 2v squared have a common factor? And they have the v squared. So I'm going to factor that out just of the 5v cubed. Okay, so I'm factoring out my v squared just from 5v cubed minus 2v squared. That's still going to leave me with 5v minus 2. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so I'm looking here and I have a common factor of 5. So I can factor out 5, and that's going to give me 5v minus 2. Now the cool thing is if we notice, I have this 5v minus 2 twice here. Okay, so this is one of those times when factor by grouping really works out nicely, because I have the same term twice. Now what I can do is I can actually factor out 5v minus 2 from this whole entire polynomial. Okay, from both of these. Because if I divide these by 5v minus 2, I can factor that out. So I'm factoring out 5v minus 2. Well, when I factor out 5v minus 2, I know that's what I took out, 5v minus 2. Okay, so I'm still factoring. And then I'm left with this v squared plus 5. So I'm taking 5v minus 2 and I'm multiplying all of that by v squared plus 5. I can't factor this anymore. It's done. There's nothing else for me to do. Okay, so first thing we do is we just group it. And normally we actually just group it with the left terms, like because it was in standard form. Or it's going to take the terms that are the two terms on the left, the two terms on the right, group them together, see if we can factor them out. And if we have the same thing, then we can factor that same thing out. Let's look at another one. So again, no greatest common factor. Okay, doesn't have an x, so I can't factor out any kind of x. Doesn't have a 2, doesn't have a 2 or any coefficient, can't factor out a coefficient. Well, excuse me. So if I look at grouping it, I'm going to group my two monomials on the left and my two monomials on the right. Now, I'm going to look at just factoring out this first term. I can factor out an x squared. So I have x squared, and that's going to be x minus 2. And over here I can factor out a 4. Plus 4 times x minus 2. Again, look, we have the same thing right here. There's x minus 2. So now I can factor out x minus 2. And notice how I have it in parentheses when I factor it out. The reason why is because I'm factoring out all of x minus 2. So that means I'm multiplying all of x minus 2 by what was left, which is x squared plus 4. Okay. One way to check to see if you did this correctly would be you can actually multiply all of your values together. This is x to the third. This is going to give me 4x, negative 2x squared, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8, and make sure you get the same value. Because this is still an equivalent expression. This is equal to this. We're just rewriting it in a different way. So I could check my answer to make sure I factored it correctly by actually doing my distributive property and multiplying everything back out to get to here. Okay, try this one on your own if you'd like. Okay, no greatest common factor. So I'm going to group them up because I can see I have a common factor here. Excuse me. And I have a common factor over here. So my greatest common factor over here is I can take out all of 3x squared. So when I take out 3x squared, I'm left with 2x. 3x squared divided by 3x squared is 1, so I got to make sure I do something there. So that's plus 1. Take out 4. And that's going to give me 2x plus 1 as well. That's what I need to factor out, is that 2x plus 1. And so when I factor 2x plus 1 out, I still have 3x squared plus 4 being multiplied by all of 2x plus 1. Okay? All right. Last one, just in case we need the extra practice. I want to make sure we know what we're doing. There's really nothing else to it. So try this one. See how you do. Definitely try this one. And then you can check back and see how you do. So 4x to the fourth minus plus 12x cubed plus 6x squared plus 18x. So there's a few routes I could go with this one. I do have a greatest common factor. I can take out a 2x. Okay. So I could take out that 2x, or I could just see what happens. Let's see what happens when I group. Maybe I need to take out the 2x first. Let's just see what happens here. So I'm going to take out 4x to the third here. And that's going to leave me with just x plus 3. Here I'm going to take out 3x. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to take out 6x. So that's going to give me 6x times x plus 3. Oh, so I didn't need to factor out that 2x in the beginning. That one worked out really nicely. So I have my x plus 3 in common. Okay. So now I have factor out my x plus 3 times 4x cubed plus 6x. Now looking at this, I can technically still factor this as well. So I could take out that 2x still at this time if I would like to. So I could take out my 2x, and if I do that, because it's multiplication, you can do it in any order you want. So I have my 2x. Oops. And then I have, let's see here, 2x squared plus 3. And we're all done. That's it. If anybody has any questions, let me know. This is all the way factored. Can't do anything else. And that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching the video. G out.